Alright. I don't actually know if I'm gonna upload this one or not, because I don't know. I feel like I have been just it's funny because I started the channel and like I did it like in the middle of a busy week where I was starting my first week of work, and I went down the shore one day and I had another thing with the family on the other day, and then every other day I was working basically, and then the weekend was still like, playing a bunch of Pokemon Go for hours and stuff. It was a pretty tough week, and then this week has been kind of brutal for me in a lot of ways. Some ways I won't fully like delve into, but is this bee really still here? Can you just be gone, please? There's like a bee outside my car and it won't leave. Go away. I'm gonna spray them with the fucking, whatever they're called. So I don't even really know what I'm talking about here. I guess I'm just talking about whatever's on the mind. It just like it, I guess something I can talk about is just when things don't work out, I guess. Because right now I feel like things are not working out the way I wanted them to, if that makes any sense. And I guess part of that is maybe I had too high expectations of how things would go. But it's also like, on the other hand, I think maybe I just didn't have the right expectations in general. I'm not sure. I think it's always been like kind of a discouraging thing for me when something doesn't work out. I mean, for example, I think an example of this I can use the Pokemon video I was working on, because it was like I had this vision for it and then it just kind of didn't really feel right after I started putting it together. So then, I scrapped it, and then kind of I think I'm trying to remember how I did it, because I think I'd started making a new version of it and then I gave up for a while, and then I like slowly came back to it, and then I started putting the whole thing together again, and then I just didn't like it either, so then I just got rid of it too. And now I've been like taking month-long hiatuses from finishing it. So I think when something doesn't work out, it just feels kind of unmotivating, I guess. But I've been trying to get better with that, because I think for example, when I was looking for a job, I got like 3 interviews back to back to back, and the first place was the one I actually really wanted at first, because it was a CVS where I could get cross-trained the pharmacy, and I was like, that actually sounds like a really sick idea. The manager said like it'd be good on a resume and that sort of thing. And I was like, that actually sounds really cool. And I mean, I like going to CVS and like Walgreens and stuff anyway, so why not, right? So I tried to, I did my interview and everything, and I was hoping to hear back, and they just never responded, like, ever. I didn't even get like a, sorry, we didn't choose you. It's just nothing. And I guess in that sense, I was a little bit demoralized, and like when I actually got my job offer, I almost didn't want to take it immediately, because I was like, yeah, but what if I get contacted by CVS again? Or, well, if I get contacted by CVS and they want to hire me instead, because I felt like I would rather have that. But honestly, like now where I am, I think I'm okay with how it turned out. But I guess initially when you're thinking of something and you're thinking of how it's gonna go, I guess you kind of have a different idea in mind. And sometimes I feel like when something doesn't go the way I plan it to go, it just kind of feels like the whole world is just like collapsing. But then I guess you kind of realize it's not that bad in the end. Like, I mean, I had a couple classes I took in college, and like, by the way, I mean, I don't know if this applies everywhere, but men, do not take science or math classes during the summer, because, or at least during the summer at the school I was at, because holy shit, it was terrible. So it's like, I think it's like a 6-week course or something, because they split the summer into 2 parts and like all that. It's weird, but I was like, you know, I have to get a science class done because I'm required. It's one of the requirements. What's the God, I'm forgetting the name. But you know, it's one of those like elective classes that you have to take, or you have to take like one of several of them. So I was like, you know what? I'll get physics out of the way. Sure, I'm down. So I was gonna do that, and I signed up for the summer class, and like immediately I was like, wow, this is a lot. Because first off, you're learning physics, which there's a lot of stuff going on in physics in general. A lot of like formulas, a lot of calculations, a lot of things you have to do. And then on top of that, there's the fact that we had, I think it was 4-hour lectures, 4 days a week. So like already that there, it's like, okay, well that sucks. And it was like, I think it was like 8 in the morning or something. So I would have to get up at 8 in the morning to be on a Zoom call for 4 hours. And then after all of that, we would have homework that would usually take an hour, and we'd have to do that every single day. And that sucked. Like that, and it was, I think it was also required reading too. So we had to read and do the homework. So that's like at least another hour. Then we had a lab to do like every week, and it was like these really extensive labs where you have to probably take like 10 hours from your week or something. So you can see that there's so much random, or not random, I guess I shouldn't say random, but like there's so much stuff you have to do in a given week. It was like miserable. And I was like doing my best, but it was not going very well. And then I got the first test, and I was just like, I don't know anything. And so I just like, when that happened, it felt like the sky was falling. Like it felt like I'm fucked. Like I've just ruined everything. And then I ended up withdrawing from that class before it could have affected my GPA. And after that, I was like, you know, I mean, I guess it wasn't that bad. I mean, yeah, like I kind of wasted money, I guess, but also I at least learned never take a science class during summer. And then you know what I did afterwards? I took a Calculus 2 class. Big mistake. Big mistake. Because again, it's very similar to physics. I mean, literally, in a way, like derivatives are, you know, part of physics. And I could not follow along very well. I think also part of it, I guess, little side tangent here, I just can't do online classes, man. I've tried. I just can't do online classes. Like online classes, they're just not like good for learning, in my opinion. I mean, maybe some people learn good from online classes because they're in like a more comfortable environment instead of like being in school. But for me, it's like I feel like there's so many distractions, you know, and like I feel like people they're not really willing to like talk to you and stuff. So everybody's just kind of whatever, you know, everybody's just fucking in a Zoom call, not really paying attention. And even Like, even if the teacher's like, okay, yeah, you need to have your cam on so that I can see that you're paying attention. Like, I mean, number one, I don't think that stops people from not paying attention. And number two, it just becomes this like very weird, like artificial thing where like you just have to be looking at the camera the whole time and knowing that the camera is on you. It's just fucking weird. It's just really weird. And then to add to that, it's just, I feel like I just don't learn anything. Like, I feel like the information doesn't stick in my head, if that makes any sense. It just goes in one ear and it comes out the other. And it's like, I wish that online classes were good for me, but they're just not. Like, that's just the reality. So, yeah, like, honestly, the last year, or last year and a half, actually, yeah. Last year and a half of my time in college just sucked because it was just all online and I felt like I was learning nothing. And I mean, there were even some classes where it's like the professor just did not care, which I guess maybe they don't care because, you know, they also don't get that like face-to-face interaction too. I guess it goes both ways. But like, man, it was not great there. It was not great in those classes, but especially summer classes. Oh, they suck online. They suck online. Unless it's like one of the ones where you can just do it at your own pace. Because I remember I took like it's like some weird U.S. history course or whatever I just took as like an elective to get one of my humanities done or whatever the fuck it was. And I literally was just able to do it at my own pace for the most part. Like, we had some like assigned reading and whatever, and that was it. And some like papers we had to write. That was it, and it was fine. I had no issues with that, but it's just like, I feel like I didn't really learn that much from that class because it just, again, it's like it just goes in one ear out the other. But getting back to where I was, it just, when I like screwed up those classes so bad, it felt like the sky was falling for a little bit there, and then eventually kind of shifted back to reality where it's like, okay, just because I fucked up this one class does not mean like my whole life is over. And I guess like I'm kind of going through a similar thing right now where like I kind of just felt like my whole world was falling apart for a little bit, but I think I am recovering from that a little bit and just trying to think ahead again instead of being stuck just thinking like, oh man, it's just fucked, I ruined everything, you know? And I mean, in some ways, I think when we have expectations of how things are gonna go, and then those like what happens ends up getting shifted, I think it's kind of a good thing ultimately, because it's like sometimes we think that something is good. Like, I mean, for example, the job I wanted at CVS, we think that's good, and then we realize that actually I probably am better off where I am now. So that's awesome. But at the time, I wouldn't have really thought that. I mean, like, I it's not like I hated the place where I am now, but it wasn't my number one. So, but I guess this is kind of how life is. Sometimes it's just, you have expectations, and then when those expectations don't get met, it kind of sucks. But you get through it and you deal with it, and yeah. I am still kind of dealing with that a little bit, but I think I'm starting to just be able to actually accept it instead of spending forever just being like, yeah, I fucked everything up. And I mean, hey, at least I have this channel, I guess. That's something. Because I mean, at least I'm making some content, right? Even though you can argue whether it's good content or not, but I mean, I'm working on stuff. I just have not had time because, again, last week was insanely busy and I managed to get like a couple videos out in that time, and then just this week has been even more busy, and it's gonna be busy because I have a lot of hours at work. Today's like my one day of being off and then back to work. Ugh. Man, by the way, I guess, I've been looking at some of the stuff on the channel, and it's like the first two videos did really well, and then it just fell off a cliff after that. Uh, I think honestly though, I think part of it is the thumbnails. I realized I think the thumbnails, if I put too many words in it, it doesn't do well. So in the future, you probably won't see many words in the thumbnails, because I think when people have to read like 200 or not 200 words, but people have to read like 10 words in a thumbnail, that's too much, which maybe says a lot about our society, honestly. The fact that like people can't be bothered to read 10 words, like if it's not like 2 or 3 words, people don't want to read it and they won't click on it. But I guess this is kind of the society we live in. At least I read like occasionally. Not super often, but I read sometimes. That's cool, right? I mean, I got nothing else to do. I'm gonna open this pack real quick. I'm gonna open this pack of Pokemon cards. What's in it? Let's find out. Okay. I'm gonna open a Lugia, because I'm still missing a lot of the Lugia EXs. Okay. It's gonna be a good pack, come on. Son of a bitch. It's another, like, full art Quillfish thing. I think I have like 3 of them. I think I have 3. I'm gonna double check right now. This stupid fucking Quillfish. I hate Quillfish now. Let's see. 3. I have 3 of these Quillfish. I don't need 3 of these Quillfish. God. What a stupid Pokemon. Yeah, though, I mean, is there really anything else? I mean, I guess just, I don't know if I'm making too many videos at the moment. I got a lot going on. So, I think that's where it's gonna be for a while, but I will try to occasionally make some stuff. I feel like I just need to make more interesting types of videos. I don't know if yapping about like Pokemon Go for 30 minutes is like a great idea. Or, yapping about zombies is a great idea. I feel like I would rather just find other things to talk about, I guess, in life. And then I guess I can save some of the, I don't know. I did want to make this channel so I could like do stuff, so, or just like, make stuff about random topics like Pokemon Go and stuff, so I don't know. Because I'm probably not going to really express it much on my other channel. I feel like that stuff doesn't really work so well in scripted stuff, so I think it's also pretty funny that I was supposed to have notes when I started these, and I've fully committed, I guess, to just not scripting anything, not even taking notes, just whatever's in my head, that's what comes out. Which I guess sometimes is not a great thing, because sometimes I'm probably gonna forget something. But generally speaking, I think I'm doing an okay job with it. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to go play some Pokemon Go for a little bit. I think I'm gonna be out like most of today, so try to do that while I can. But yeah, I mean, I will be back for whatever I talk about next, I guess.